Imagine that, right? Hi and welcome. Trusting you are joining me if you're on the replay. I'll get started in a few minutes, but please tap the screen for hearts and feel free to give them as you go through. I'm going to get to the meat of this conversation in a moment. So thanks for joining me as you're coming in. Again, if you're watching the replay, please tap on the screen for hearts, and I'll get to the conversation in a moment. So just turning back. Oops, there we go. Hi, actually, let me turn. Hold one sec. See if that works better. That's better. Daylight. We've got daylight here. Why not? Thanks for coming in. Thanks for joining me. This is my love scope for the day. A bit late in the day, but Sunday's my focus day in my spiritual community. So I'm just getting online today and going to talk about something that is really came up today in conversation with a dear friend of mine who's gone through a recent divorce. And I want to talk to you about that and what you can do differently so you don't have the same trap. If you're just joining me for the first time, please feel free, one, to let me know that you're here for the first time, and second, if you'd be willing to swipe right on the phone, swipe right on the iPhone, swipe down on the Droid and tap on follow, and please do share this with your followers, your friends, on Facebook, on Twitter, and also in Periscope. And I welcome you tapping the screen for hearts, although this may not be a heartfelt conversation to start with, but I do have light at the end of the tunnel, so that's why I'm here. Again, this is my love scope for the day, so my shirt's all wrinkled up because I've been out in the hot sun today. I'm going to get to the topic in hand. Let me start with who I am, that's even better. My name is Barry Selby. I am the Heartbreak Repair Specialist. I'm a passionate devotee and supporter. Excuse me as I'm grabbing my book behind the camera. It wasn't me trying to, maybe kiss my cheek. I am a #1 best-selling author. This is my book, 50 Ways to Love Your Lover. It's on Amazon as a physical book and as a Kindle book. It's getting a lot of, yeah, right. Strike one, you get 2 more and then you're out, just so you know. Grandpa, funny. This is my love scope for the day, which is really about relationship, romance, and having what you want in love in your love life, particularly if you had challenges in the past, because most people, including myself, didn't have it easy in their love lives. So I am, as I said, a #1 best-selling author. I am a relationship expert, known as the Heartbreak Repair Specialist. I do speak more at live events, and I also have a few online programs, and I'll get to those later on. So if you're coming in for the first time, thanks for joining me. If you are here for the first time, please type 1 or first time in the comments. I'd like to know that you're here. And if you are here for the first time, please swipe right on the phone or down on the Droid and tap on follow, and share with your Twitter fans and followers, and on Periscope, of course, and tap the screen for hearts. And we'll get right into it. So, love is a battlefield, and it is if you don't know what you're doing. And I was quoting the Pat Benatar song from way back when, in the 80s, because I was aware in 2 different conversations this morning at my spiritual center with 2 friends of mine, individually and separately, about their relationship challenges, about their, what's am I looking for? About their pain and suffering they've had, basically, put it bluntly. Their absolute, I don't know where to put it, the train wreck of their relationships. And what I mean literally is how the relationships fell apart. It was never what they planned, it wasn't what they intended. And in fact, one of them actually I talked to is a friend of mine who does a lot of wedding photographs. Hi Cindy, nice to have you here. I'm glad to see a familiar face. Please, if you are, I'm going to keep going back a few times to this because people are joining as we go. Please, if you are here for the first time, please swipe right on the phone and on the iPhone or down on the Droid and tap on follow. And please, again, share with your followers on Twitter and on Periscope. And please tap the screen for hearts as I go through, because it's going to get better as I go through. But I'm going to start with the bad news first and get to the good news. Thank you, Cindy, for inviting your followers. Good to have you all here. So again, love is a battlefield, and I mean actually relationships as a battlefield. And why I'm saying this is because this morning conversation with 2 different people, one of whom was really a dear friend of mine, who's I don't want to say too much, I don't want to give away who she is, but going through a rather painful divorce right now. A painful one with the son and custody and all sorts of stuff like that. And she said something to me this morning that just really dropped, it sort of dropped a penny, like the penny dropped, and it got clear about how I want to talk about this. Thank you for the hearts there, Cindy, I appreciate it. And that is that relationships are a battlefield when you don't know what you're doing. Because, one, relationships don't come with a user manual. Yes, I have a book that will help you, but it's not the user manual you probably had in your last relationship. If it was, you would be doing better off, I would say. Now, being biased, it's my book. My name's on it, as I said. But the thing about relationships are, they require effort, connection, commitment, dedication to your own growth as well as your partner's. And I'll get to that more in a moment. But speaking to this point about the battlefield part, my friend is talking about how bereft she is because it was kind of like she wished she knew up front about this before it got to where it did in the relationship, so she wouldn't be in this place now of divorce and separation and custody and all the other crap that comes up. Because the best laid intentions people have going to a relationship is this will be the one. Lifetime commitment, it'd be fun, it'd be wonderful, and it doesn't end up that way. You know, well over 50% of couples in this country have had divorces. More than that even, because they've gone through a few cycles. Here's the thing. How do I say this? As I said, relationships don't come with a user manual, nor the kids for that matter, so raising family is challenging. But if a couple, and this is not saying I would doing this, but I would recommend highly, if you're in a committed relationship that is about to get close to getting married, this is the best time to seek counsel. It's the best time to go see somebody who can really see you two neutrally and clearly so that you can get clarity on each other. Because if you don't know what you're walking into, how the hell are you going to expect to have an amazing relationship and have all that stuff that's in the way not appear? I hope that makes sense. What I'm going to say clearly again is this is the let me break another way of saying it. I said this before in my scope on Friday, I think, but I want to talk about this point in the area of romance and about breakup. Is we go into a relationship without realizing that we're bringing in a whole suitcase full of baggage over our backs, all that crap from our history, and so is our partner. And I said I did two scopes, one called Love is Hereditary, Part 1 and Part 2, that was Friday and Wednesday, I think. Anyway, you can look at those on my Catch.me account. But here's the thing. If you don't, first of all, at least check out your own stuff, your own history, because it's in here. You got the information you need to know if you wanted to look for it, because it's what's portrayed itself in every part of relationship up to this point. Your history when you were a kid of what you saw relationships to look like, I'm just doing a recap briefly of my previous scope, of what you were experiencing from your parents and the adults around you, what relationship would look like, is what you took on, imprinted it in your mind as a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old. And those patterns, in subtle or blatant forms, will show up in your adult relationships. Guaranteed. Because we believe the way a relationship is what we learn as a kid. It's the way it is. But that's the trap. And that's where the battlefield happens. So I want to get to the good side in a minute, so please bear with me. I'm still talking about the pain side of this in a way. But there is a pleasure side as well. So if you're watching and just join me, I just saw somebody just join, please make sure you are following me on Periscope, and you're also sharing this with your followers and your friends on Twitter as well. Because this is fundamental stuff for relationships, and yeah, it's not necessarily light talk for a Sunday afternoon, but I wanted to set you up for success. I'm actually speaking out loud here what I'm going to be putting into my email, to my newsletter, to my email list about relationships, because it's so fundamental. And my list is very much about learning these tips and keys to having healthy relationships. But again, if you don't know what the trap is, you're not going to fall into it. So back to what I said, is you've got to be aware of what baggage you're bringing with you into your relationships. And ideally when you're single, or if you're in one where you've got space to do the work and your partner supports you, is to really get to the point where you know what it is that's triggering you and you can step back and heal it. If you can actually, I'm realizing I've not been smiling much on this scope because this is really the painful part, so bear with me. Hi Evie, nice to have you here. If you're in a relationship, or you're entering a relationship without knowing what your baggage is first, and two, not resolving the baggage, it's going to play out every single time. As I said, guaranteed. And this is why I'm so passionate about this work, as you can tell I get juiced about this. Relationships are they're amazing crucibles for your personal growth. It's not a place to be lazy. I know people who are, and their relationships don't work out. Or they're asleep at the wheel, which happens too. But if you want a healthy relationship that's going to work, you've got to be willing and you've got to be committed to your own evolution. And I was going to do a scope, I didn't do it yet, about Maslow, as in Abraham Maslow. I'm thinking of trying to think of the name. But this is the key. I said about hierarchy of needs. I'm not sure. Sorry, Evie, fill in what you were saying, because that was one word, and it's like I'm trying to extrapolate everything from that one word. This is the thing for me. The key for you is that your relationships hierarchy of needs. Thank you. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking you were talking about. It is, yes, because some people look at relationship as survival. I mean, baseline survival. And hierarchy of needs go so much higher than that. For really, the healthy relationship is the top level. It's the altruistic. It's the maybe mislabeling it, but it's that commitment to the evolution of your partnership and yourself. And I'm passionate about that in my work. And so are my clients. That's one reason I don't have 3,000 clients, because not many people are choosing this. But I don't have room for that many clients. So when I work with my clients, they're ones who are willing to say yes, they're willing to grow, willing to own up to their true nature and get what they want. This is the way I get to the happy side. So I'm glad you stuck with me this far. The joy of choosing relationship from a high level of intention, of knowing what you want, and also knowing what you're bringing, which includes having made peace with and having resolved your past, so no longer override your choices. Now, caveat, some people, and there are few and far between, but some people have had amazing family dynamics growing up, where they had a loving family, a healthy relationship with their parents, and the parents had a healthy relationship with each other that played out well in their lives. So when they come to a relationship, they expect that to be normal. Most of us didn't have that. I almost did, but the piece that was almost and didn't quite have it played havoc on my early dating life. So I know it does mess us up. I speak from my own experience and from my coaching, from my clients. Your opportunity, your invitation, as it were, is to take a look at your own history, to look in the mirror emotionally, mentally, behaviorally, and to see what it is that you've had to play out in your life, because it will impact your love life. Sorry, but it will. The good news is it's not permanent. You have the opportunity, whether it's through books, study, coaching, therapy, counseling, working with me, to resolve it once and for all. As I said, my title is I'm Heartbreak Repair Specialist because I'm I've studied a lot of this stuff, worked with amazing teachers, and I've basically distilled down my own distillation, is what I use, I guess, again, of what works. And so I'm very passionate about helping my clients have that transformation, because once they do, their relationship, the level of relationship, dramatically up levels. That simple. Because they no longer play the games that they didn't know they were playing, because it's automatic pilot. Now, I've done this before on an older scope, so I'll bring a little bit of it in here, but I won't go into too much detail because it's a much bigger conversation. But in simple terms, we, in our awareness, our consciousness, have two parts of it: the conscious mind, the subconscious mind. And that subconscious mind is where all that storage of information, programming, beliefs, rules, structure get imprinted before the age of 10. There's a professor named Bruce Lipton who wrote a book called The Biology of Belief, and if you read that book, you'll learn more about this as well. And I've seen him do a lecture on this, and he talks about this stuff, and I'm so in agreement with him. We formulate our view of the world through the lenses we have when we're kids. So from 0 to age 8, 9, or 10, depending on the study, we are sponges taking in the world around us as the way things are. So our parents model relationships as an adult, how they handle money, religion, spirituality, health, all those things we take on as being the rules from around us. And we wonder why, as an adult, we wonder why things don't work. Because most of that stuff is not taught in school. Maybe there's a financial class, or a career day, or maybe you do gym, or you do some cooking class at school. I haven't seen any classes being taught on romantic relationships. At least not in the curriculum. Maybe in the locker room or in the, behind the bleachers, but it's not really taught that much. You are worried about guys cheating on me. What do I release? Mistrust or being in control? Let me see who this is. So this is Brooke. Hi, Brooke. I'd have to have a deeper conversation with you to be sure, but I would suspect if you have a distrust of guys, of cheating on you, somewhere in your history, now it may be past relationships, but it may well be something from childhood, which may not even be conscious at this point, where something happened that removed your trust. Now, it may not have been, an example, your father cheating on your mother, but it might have been him doing something that made it look like he was cheating on something in life, whether it was he broke a promise, he didn't show up for something he promised or committed to, you didn't feel supported by him. It could be any one of a number of things, but I need to talk to you directly to give you clarity. But the answer to your question is in you, there. It's not about the guys. But the key thing is, if multiple guys you have that feeling with, that's a bigger reflection that it's in you. From my experience, I had 3 relationships in a row where the same thing happened, and I figured out very clearly and very quickly it was in me, not them, because there were 3 different women. Is it possible it being a past life? It's possible. I don't do past life regression as a business, as a skill, but sometimes it shows up in my work. So I won't say no to that, but it's likely it's this lifetime. Relationship stuff, particularly if it's just your own patterns, are usually formulated, as I mentioned in my scope 2 days ago, come from hereditary patterns that you learn from your previous generations. So not so much your own past lives, but your parents and their parents is where you tend to learn the patterns, because you model it by seeing it. It's very nuts and bolts, very clean and simple. You tend to find what's happening in your own relationships as a reflection of what you learned as a kid from the adults around you. Because as the adults around us, they were gods. These big people were our teachers. And so as kids, we think they must know everything because they're bigger than us. They're smarter than us, in theory. As a 5-year-old or 4-year-old, we don't know any different. So we take in what's around us as being the way life is, whatever that is. And for instance, if the father was a workaholic, as a daughter, you would grow up to believe that men would end up working so hard and wouldn't have time for you, perhaps. That's an example. I'm not saying it's the way it is. But it's that sort of tie-in where what you saw as a child gives you a way of being as an adult. And the key thing is, if you see the same experience in repeated relationships as an adult, that's your biggest clue. That something is going on inside of you. So that's what I want to speak to. Because if that's happening for you, I can help you with that. I've done a lot of work in my own life and also in my clients, so I'm very passionate about this work, and my background allows me to do that. As I mentioned, for those who join, I'm a #1 best-selling author. This is my book, 50 Ways to Love Your Lover, which is not just 50 principles and positions of love. You're welcome. Do yourself a favor. In my profile, there is a link to you're very welcome. But if you want to go further, Brooke, I'm not saying you have to, but please just book a consult with me, a discovery session. It's half an hour we talk, and I can get you much further down the road than this can do, because it'll be personalized and private. All right. So that is what I'm trying to say. That this is my book, 50 Ways to Love Your Lover, which covers a lot of principles about relationships. It's not 50 positions, it's 50 ways to love your lover in a relationship. But please, on my website, if you go to my profile, in my bio, it has a link right there for a consult, which is my discovery session. Click on that and take you to my website. We can set up a scheduled time to talk and fill out some questions, and then we can talk for 30 minutes. It's my gift to you to get you moving forward in your love life. So that's what we want to recover today. The biggest piece is that, and thank you, you actually brought it to light for me to say it this way, is in your past relationships, if you had the same thing happen more than once, it tends to be a very good indicator of what it was, the pattern you've taken on as a rule, a belief, a behavior, or a law that you defined because of what you were raised with. All right? So that's it. Thank you for the hearts, and thanks for watching. Please share this replay with your friends, particularly women or men who have been going through this themselves. Please feel free to watch the replay as well and tap on the heart screen for hearts. I covered a fair bit of territory, but I really summarized it here in the end if you didn't catch it from the beginning. And please make sure you follow me on Periscope, because I do put out a love scope every day as best I can. I did miss one day this week because I was so busy with other stuff. But I'm definitely wanting to help you have amazing relationships through this. What's the name of the book again? It's 50 Ways to Love Your Lover. If you just look for my name and 50 Ways to Love Your Lover on Amazon, it's out there as a physical book and it's okay. And it's also it's a physical softcover and also a Kindle version on Amazon, and I also have the ebook on my website. Absolutely. But again, to be honest, these 50 chapters, the principles, give you clues and ideas. But if you want to change some things, there's more than this involved, just so you know. And that's why I do the scopes, to also let you know it's keys and tips. I've done some periscopes, by the way, that are chapters from my book and then gone way deeper than that, and I can do that too. For your information, besides the fact you can book a scheduled consult with me and have a conversation with me directly by clicking on my bio. There is a donation button too if you feel you got value, you want to give something back. That also works too. But also if you go to my Periscope ID, which is Barry Selby, if you go to catch.me with a K, katch.me/Barry Selby, there's 110, 100 and something scopes out there, of which about 70, 80 of them are love scopes, which are relationship tips, keys, and teachings. So if you want a lot of valuable content, that's all free. And I haven't moved it to my blog yet, but I will be. But it's right there. You can go watch any time. There's a whole bunch of scopes out there you can watch about love and relationships that I can help you with. So some of them are longer, some are shorter, based upon the conversation, the context, and the viewership. So that's really what I want to say. Brooke, thank you for sharing, and thanks for inviting the answers. So again, I'd love to support you if you want to go further. You know how to do that now. And please go look at my website, barryselby.com. There's a free video series you can get if you sign up there. I've also got an online program if you want to clear about your vision, as well as a 3-month coaching package and a whole bunch more stuff too. So that's it. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with my love scope, and I shall make sure I got one in today because I'm trying to get one done, at least one scope every day. And I've got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow, but I got 3 scopes planned already, so it's going to be fun. And I might do one later on, depending how I feel, because it's already. Oh, you're very welcome, Brooke. It's already after 5:30, and since a lot of my audience is in England, they're in bed by now, so I may do these tomorrow. But I'm glad you're watching. Brooke, thanks for being on here, because you were probably the reason I did this scope, based on the fact you had the most interaction. So thank you, Brooke. I'm really glad you were here. And feel free to reach out and get support. Yeah, I'd love to help you, because that's something I can help you with, definitely. And anybody else who got value from the scope, awesome. And if you want help, again, those who are watching, in my profile, if you just swipe on my profile and tap on my name, you'll see my bio, and in there is a link to a discovery session with me for free. I give to you as a question and answer session, or actually more of a guidance to where you want to go next, give you some next steps, and see if we want to work together. And also there's a donation button, which I welcome if you feel free to add some cash to my tip jar, as it were. There's a second link at the bottom of my bio, which is a link to my donation button, sponsoring me for my next adventures. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Thanks for joining. I am Barry Selby. I am the Heartbreak Repair Specialist, and I'm here to help you have amazing relationships. I'll see you later. Take care. Bye.